son of a bitch. Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. We're back up here at my pal Dave's house with the Restomod's dudes, Chris. Real quick, before we jump into it, I'd be remiss to not say something about what's happened here in LA recently with the fire. So I gotta be honest with you, with all the tragedy, feels good to do something normal again today, which is shooting cars. You know, it's like we do this all the time, and we've canceled shoots over the last week dealing with what we're dealing with at home. And it's nice to be down here in Orange County where the air's cleaner.
I know. Condolences to anybody who lost anything in those fires. It's terrible.
So let's talk it through. I know we were talking off camera for a minute.
Sure.
This is one of the ones where you guys bought a done car that already has miles on it, so it's been proven.
Correct.
And then you changed some things to style it. Why don't you walk through what you guys have personally done to the car to get it ready for a giveaway? By the way, if you buy a t-shirt, this car might be yours for the cost of a friggin' t-shirt.
It's amazing that we're able to bring a car of this level to that giveaway realm.
Seriously.
But yeah, like you said, we bought this car. We're always searching for really high-end Restomods, and we found this one on Bring a Trailer. We were able to purchase it for like a fraction of the build cost.
Right.
And it has some really awesome parts. It had some funky visual cues that we were like, those are easy to dial in. It was there. The paint was amazing. The chassis was amazing. So all we did basically was clean up visually, added wheels and tires, like you said. We went with American Racing, really nice forged two-piece wheels.
Yep.
And then the whole front end, we kind of changed. It had an SS badge, not an SS car, so I'm always a little adverse to like running an SS badge.
And then
in '69, they had a blue bow tie, so it just made sense. Let's put a blue bow tie back on the car, change all the grille, change the headlights to Dapper lighting, and they had come out with a really cool intake, and that feeds right into the twin 88 turbo.
Oh, so that's also a marker light there, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. So this has a halo, which serves as a driving light, and then it switches back to a turn signal indicator when you got your turn signals on. So that was really cool. It cleaned up the front end, visually made the car a little more appealing, which is what we wanted, just to match the rest of it, because the rest of the car is so badass.
Yeah.
So should we just hit my favorite part first?
Let's do it.
All right. So this is what like drew us into the car. My boss was looking at this and we're just like bid. We've been wanting to do a twin turbo car, but there's a lot of variations of how those cars get built, and we wanted to bring something reliable to the end user, and Nelson Racing Engines does that. They have a dialed in package.
Agreed.
So this is their 427. It's an LS based engine with all forged internals, really high end parts like Inconel valves, just stuff to handle this power level.
Yeah.
It's got their twin mirror image 88mm turbos, and then they have it all pre-packaged for a Chevelle. So everything fits where it should, and then they had the intercooler. Everything is like just a turnkey package for a Chevelle, and the previous owner bought it and put it in this badass Art Morrison chassis. That's also what you want at this power level. You want a good solid foundation.
Yeah.
Art Morrison makes a really killer product.
Yeah. What does it make power-wise?
So it's about 1250 on like 91 or 93 if you can get it, but it does have another fuel system that runs 110. So it has a stainless tank in the back that has a split. It's like a 60-30 split. Part of it is 110, and it'll light off another set of injectors when it sees a certain boost level. They have the computer all dialed in to do that.
Wow.
So it's probably capable like reliably on the system with the 110, probably 1600.
Oh God.
And it'll do it in like not all the way boost. It'll switch over to 110 just to keep the engine safe. And they have it all dialed in. It does it seamlessly. You're not doing anything exotic. You just drive this like a normal car.
Didn't you say it already has something like 6,000 miles on it? So the car's been driven and shaken down.
It's been driven, shaken down. Everything has been like holding up really good. I think I've done one exhaust manifold gasket on it after like a day of burnouts.
Well, I think Nelson, I mean, it's when you create a reputation of that nature, it's because you've been doing good work, and a lot of people talk about, oh, it's got it. As soon as you say Nelson motor, it elevates the value of the car.
Yeah.
You know, it just does right away.
Right. It's got really good parts. It's not cheap to build something like this. So it was so nice in here with all these one-off machine billet parts. It's got like their alien intake manifold, beautiful machined valve covers that kind of clean up the look of an LS, hidden coil packs.
Yeah.
You know, all the exhaust is stainless, and then all the plumbing is AN and just beautifully ran.
Yeah, for sure.
We added some Ring Brothers hood hinges just to tie it all in. That's something we do a lot. Everything was finished really nice in this car. You know, the end user, we don't know who it's going to be. So we want to bring a car that performs and is still somewhat reliable, you know, because once you get into this exotic power level, you know, sometimes it could be a lot of maintenance.
So what's this go to now, like transmission and rear end and what have you?
So another thing at this power level was it's a lot to handle in a stick shift car. This car has an automatic, which was kind of appealing to us. Normally we're stick shift guys, we love that, but maybe at like half this power level, that's really fun. So it has an automatic. It's a built 4L80E with all forged internals, or billet internals, I should say, external coolers. So it's built to handle that power level. It's got kind of the right stall converter for the engine. Everything's been matched. It goes to a 9-inch Ford rear end. I don't know the gear ratio actually on this, but to me, after driving several of these cars, it feels like probably a 350 ratio. It's not such a tall gear because, you know, this thing's making a lot of torque. The 9-inch is a fabricated housing. It's part of the Art Morrison Chassis package. It comes with their triangulated 4-link with Johnny joints, and everything's just kind of overbuilt in the car. There's a lot of cooling systems. You know, it has an oil pump prime to get it started, external transmission coolers. It's got the dual intercoolers. So
yeah, I saw that up here where it's visible through them, which by the way too, I really like the spoiler on here.
Yeah, so we went back and forth on that because it's so prominent, and you know, it's not something you normally see on a Chevelle. Having a reason for it, having the intercoolers there made sense. You know, sometimes when you see something like this that there's no reason for it, you know, you start to question it, but being able to like kind of direct some air to the intercoolers and have them not just hanging down with nothing covered.
Right, it helps the aesthetic of it.
Helps.
And it looks like you still have tons of clearance, so you're not worried about grounding the intercooler.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a chassis, right? You can set that stance without having a bunch of stuff hanging down. Ground clearance is no problem. The car sits right, but like a normal speed bump, you're not like completely scraping or anything, which is awesome.
Yeah, dude. Do you know the color?
Yeah, we have a paint code for it, but it's called nautical blue.
It's a good blue on this car, man. God, this thing's beautiful.
We wanted to do a factory style grille in it, chrome mirrors, chrome handles, all the trim.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you tie that in with like an aggressive stance, like the right wheel and tire combo. Without knowing what's under the hood or the chassis or anything, you can kind of tell when you see this car, okay, something, you know, something's up with this car.
You know something's happening.
And then the chin spoiler and the intercoolers kind of give it away a little bit too.
I like it a lot. I know you said you guys are the ones that changed over the wheels from what was on previously. What are sizes and tires and all that stuff?
The Art Morrison chassis uses like Corvette style hubs and spindles.
Yeah.
So it's basically a Corvette big brake kit.
Sure.
And it had 18-inch, also American racing wheels, but the clearances were real tight and the offsets weren't exactly right what we wanted. So we reached back out to them and they had this new forged VF552 wheel, and we wanted to do them again in 18-inch because we like the fat sidewall look on these muscle cars, but it just wouldn't clear the brakes with the way the forged hoop was and stuff. So we actually went up to 19-inch. You only really see on modern cars, there's not too many 19-inch wheeled cars running around. And I was nervous that it was gonna look too big, but the big car, it works, it fills it out.
It totally works.
So, and they're big wheels, you know, so it's 19 by 10s up front and 19 by 12s in the back. We got a 275 Toyo R888R in the front, and then in the back it's 325. So the car does have a little mini tub. And the idea behind the car, you know, at this power level, a lot of people like associate that with a purpose-built car, like that's a drag car. But this was just kind of like a bragging rights car. It's like built to handle the power, but it's not built to be a race car. It still cruises comfortably. It's an automatic. It does its thing well, and the chassis makes it feel a lot more predictable and stable. You know, you get a rack and pinion. It's got strange coilovers that are fully adjustable all the way around. So it just drives like confidence inspiring. I'm normally a manual brake car, to be honest. That's kind of what I lean towards, but this has an electric power brake assist.
The one thing I know we didn't talk about was the exhaust, because the car sounds good.
It's got a full 3-inch stainless exhaust. It goes to oval tubing in some parts of the chassis to make sure it stays tucked up under there. But it's fully wrapped too. It's heat insulated, it's got V-band clamps, and it goes all the way out the back. So it's a really nice exhaust. Not much of a muffler. It's like almost a full straight through muffler. Right. But the turbos,
quieted.
They quiet it down a little bit.
Sure.
So it's still like loud, but not obnoxious, and it sounds good. It sounds good.
Did you do anything interior wise, or is this as it was?
Mostly as it was. The only thing we did was a few touch point things. So these are like a modern GTO seat that the previous owner had recovered in leather and did a little blue stitching to match. And he got rid of the headrest. which people were like, well, that's not safe. But it does have 3-point belts, and
having 1,200 horsepower in a car that has no granny assist isn't safe either. I mean, come on.
And
if we're gonna go there, let's go there.
We've had some people ask about no cage, but there is situations on the street where a cage is not the best thing, because if you hit your bare skull against a roll cage, you know, a cage is usually designed for a car that you're using a helmet in.
My preference is always this, honestly, on a street car. So it's gonna stop me from bashing my face here, probably, but it's going to allow my body to move. It's going to allow everything to move, you know?
And this car has more of a like comfort feel when you're in the interior, you know, with the leather seats. You know, he did the matching rear buckets with the console that goes all the way through the car, custom door panels, and then the gauges, it's just full of autometer gauges.
Sure, yeah.
So it has the normal gauge stack that you would normally see in the Spot, just, you know, with your RPM.
Yep.
And then there's some extra gauges. So you can monitor boost, you can monitor your trans temp, which is nice with an automatic.
Yep.
And there's extra fuel pressure and an extra fuel level gauge, and that's for the 110. The only things we changed on the car was the steering wheel. We went with like just a nice leather Momo wheel that kind of the brush finish tied in with the gauges. So the exterior of the car has a lot of like shiny chrome bits, and the interior is a little more toned down. Tilt column from Flaming River.
The thickness of it.
And they feel high quality. I mean, that's an Italian-made wheel, and it's like, you know, maybe in an American car, it doesn't seem like your first choice, but it works well in here. It has a B&M shifter, and we wanted to just tone it down with a regular, just black knob, nothing that stands out
like
too much.
It's got like a big handle or something,
Yeah, and it's got a line lock button on the side.
I was gonna ask if that's what that guy is.
Yeah, and that thing works. That thing works. And then the only thing we did is upgrade the stereo. We put a modern, like, Pioneer head unit, so it's got Apple CarPlay, your navigation. It's got a lot of stuff that, like, you don't necessarily need in a car, but it's kind of nice to just have it all. Vintage air, so the AC blows cold. It's got the controls there. It's all power windows, cup holders.
There's enough custom stuff that I know it's not a stock Chevelle, but it's not so far gone that we've lost the car in any way.
Yeah.
You know? In the short back seats, I'm sorry, on some cars, especially a true hard top with no post coming through.
Yeah, that's kind of that, like, you see right through. When you look at the profile of the car, it goes all the way through, you know?
Yeah, dude, it just looks, this is really a pretty car. This is our third one with you.
Yeah.
And each time I've said the same thing where I go, I can't believe for the cost of a t-shirt or whatever they purchase from you guys that they can win this car. And I know you guys are legit, dude, because you fly the person in, you show the person getting the car, so we all know it's like, holy shit, I buy something. I could be that guy, and I wouldn't have to get, I might make you fly me from LA down to San Diego, but.
What's funny is that's the only time it really gets real for the winner, you know? They're usually skeptical right up to the point where they walk up and get in their car, you know, and then we hand them a check because there's a cash prize involved too. But yeah, and we've had most of the time, like if someone lives really far, another part of the country, we'll ship them the car. But we've had winners. We had a guy that won a 68 Charger. He hopped in it and drove it like 8 hours to his house in Arizona. Like that day, picked up his car and just hit the road. And that was awesome. That was a good feeling.
That's the other thing I like what you guys are doing though, Chris, is that when you turn over the car, they could get in and drive to Arizona and not worry about it, because you've proven that it's sorted out. 6,000 miles, you don't get there by not having it sorted out.
No, and that's the thing, like you can have all the best parts, but the way you're combining them, there's stuff you're gonna have to dial in through the process after driving it.
Let's camera up and go drive this thing.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. You know, I have a Chevelle that I store at my shop. The accelerator 100% reminds me of that car. It's a really stiff accelerator.
Yeah, it has a very positive feel to it, which probably at this power level keeps you from slipping and, you know, getting into some
I think it's a good idea.
boost.
You don't want one that's so light with 1,200 horsepower at your foot that, you know.
Well, and then it's an automatic car too, so like that on a stick shift car could be a little bit dicey, right?
That I agree. I think that would be actually really cumbersome to drive. But with an automatic, you know, you just, I mean, I recognized it quickly. And
Right, heavy pedal.
right away it feels, you know, within a couple seconds of driving it, the things that stood out right away is I love the steering on it. It's easy steering, but it's not overly easy.
Right.
I like the suspension, the way it's set up. It feels, it's stiff for sure, but it's not, so far it hasn't been uncomfortable stiff in the slightest.
Yeah, it's very compliant. All Corvette geometry in the front, so it's got the sports car feel to it, you know.
God, this car drives really nice, dude. This is a really nice driving car, man.
It's a good car, and it's like pretty normal to drive. I mean, it's point and shoot type car.
You guys know me, I'm always chill with people's cars, so we'll let Chris show you what boost is like on this thing. Boy, today it's gonna be a happy boost day, isn't it? Because it's about maybe 58, 60 degrees outside.
Beautiful, cool, crisp air. That's turbo weather.
Boy, the car really does just, this thing's bitching, dude. Somebody's gonna score.
You wouldn't normally think like a hot rod at this level, you're just gonna go out and cruise, but this car will do it.
That's the best, when it has the ability to go ballistic, knowing it's got 1200 to it, but cruising at the rate I'm cruising, it doesn't feel like you start it up and it's not a gnarly aggressive cam shaking all over the place, which I love, but like, are you really gonna go cruise that? So far, it does not seem like a radical car, and I know Nelson and his pals are sitting right up there waiting for him.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about turbos too, is like you gotta build the boost, you know? It's not like a supercharged car where it's always there, you know? Boost,
Well,
boost
and I'll
is
bet
good.
the 427 with no boost to it is still making pretty good power.
Yeah, I would say it's probably a 600 horse engine NA, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Yep. I'm buying more Restomod shit.
Yeah, and I'll have to get some Autotopia merch. Quick plug, go get your Autotopia merch.
Yeah, you guys, just so you know, we're threatening the idea of joining the concept of doing a giveaway. You know, I gotta admit, from the business side, it's a little nerve-wracking with the thought of, all right, what if we go buy, say, a $50,000 car, but it doesn't hit hard enough, and now we either have to keep the car, sell the car, or lose money, or all of the above.
You got enough of the right people watching you that if you find a good car, man, they're gonna want it.
Dude, I can't get over how good this car drives. Like, the one thing that keeps striking me is the braking.
We talked about that being electric assist,
Yes.
but I think I mentioned, to me it almost felt very similar to a manual brake car.
It does.
Like that input level and like how it's linear, it's pretty similar. You know?
It does. It's not over braking in the slightest. It's really comfortable braking. Nice driving car, man. Even with the bumps we're hitting, like I said before, it's stiff, but it's not hopping around on the road.
Yep.
The steering's easy, but it's super articulate. Like, it's not darting around.
Right.
This is, wow. Jesus Christ, dude. Fuck, that really pulls, doesn't it?
It'll put you
And
back.
you're what,
man.
half
So-
foot in maybe?
Half foot. I've never gone full throttle in this car because I don't want it to kick down on me, and just I want to have some respect for the car. It's a power level that deserves it, you know.
You better believe. I love that you just said that, dude.
We're gonna give it away, and then that guy is gonna, or that girl is gonna have the opportunity to do that too. Work your way up, feel how comfortable you are with it, you know.
It's a lot to work your way up to. Let's be honest. I mean,
it's okay to never get to the top of that power level.
Yeah. Holy son of a bitch. God.
Oh man.
Dude, it just keeps pulling and pulling and pulling and
freight
pulling
train,
and pulling.
right?
You can feel the boost continuing to build.
You think like, man, I'm going fast, and then it keeps pushing you back.
It just keeps coming. Oh my God.
We got the brakes for it.
You really got everything for it though, Chris. I mean, you don't feel anything suspension chassis wise that's going like, okay, let's pull it back a little bit.
No,
like it feels like the car can handle.
Yeah.
And so the amount of foot you're putting in, we're probably hitting up in the 800-900 horsepower range,
right.
I'll bet you.
Yeah, I've never, this was like 3/4 throttle maybe,
Yeah,
but
I'm good with that. We don't need to go past that.
It's pulling hard enough for me, man.
Yeah, good. Same for me, dude.
It never gets old, man. And those blow-off valves.
Then hearing the blow-off,
yeah,
which
those
is
blow-off
such...
valves.
Holy God. All right, now we can just pull over and wait here for them. God, dude. We're waiting at the next spot for you guys.
Oh shit, dude, that does not get old.
No, it doesn't, but it definitely makes me breathe like I'm giving birth. God! As you dug back into it there, I felt it starting to spin again.
Yeah.
You did the smart thing, man.
You gotta give it its respect, man, or it'll just light those tires
No, you have to. You're driving this car in the manner that I think it deserves to be driven. Enough to show us what it's about, not enough to wad it up, not enough to make the guy that's gonna get the giveaway go, well, will you do a service on it? Because I saw you beating the shit out of it on Autotopia. I mean, you're not even...
We might have to give him a set of new rear tires. That's fine. I accept that.
Oh, this thing's friggin' violent. How much boost it'll make if you were stupid enough to put your foot all in?
Yeah, I think it's capable of like 12 to 15, somewhere in there. We've used half a tank of gas and like a quarter tank of race fuel already. So she's thirsty.
Impressive car, man. I really like the idea. I mean, I know I've already said it, dude, but it's standing out to me. You hit the boost, it hits hard, I breathe funny and go, oh shit.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
then you lift, and now like you are right now, this is a really nice car driving down the road.
It's a pretty cool thing to have power on tap, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's like, it's there. You don't have to always use it, but it's there.
Credit, gotta say, you guys publicly gotta credit the guy that built this car.
Yeah, shout out to Mike and Havasu. Built a killer toy, man. I'm happy we're out here playing with it. Boost.
That was pretty tame though. That felt good.
That felt good, right?
Yeah, that was
stable.
solid.
Line lock does its thing.
Yeah. Solid car though. Feels really good.
Yeah, it's dialed, dude.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Sean's right. It feels like you're gonna get put into the back seat.
It feels tame until that boost just keeps pushing you, dude.
Yeah. turn. Holy shit!
Dude, it just hazed the tires right now.
You can feel it.
It just hazed the tires going like 70.
Wow.
That, my friends, is an intense car. As boost comes on, it just keeps coming. If you keep your foot in it, it's a very, very intense ride. It's well sorted out, thousands of miles already on this car. As you can tell, everything about it works fantastic. And when you're just cruising, it just cruises. So for the cost of a t-shirt or a hat or anything that the Restomods guys sell, you could potentially end up with this car. So I will be buying more Restomods gear so I can get this car hopefully. As always, man, thanks for hanging and watching. Thanks to the Restomods guys for taking the time to shoot with us. And thanks to my pal Dave for offering up his house once again for us as a really kick-ass set. I'll see you in the next one, man. Later.